March 11, 1944, 6:20 p.m. Camp Algona, Iowa. The doors of the transport truck swing open, and cold Midwestern air rushes inside. Oberleutnant Hans Keller blinks against the sudden light. For 3 days he has tasted nothing but crusted bread and weak ersatz coffee, his stomach clenched into a tight, aching knot that no longer growls, it has given up. He steps down onto packed gravel, boots stiff with dried mud from the hedgerows of Normandy, where his unit collapsed under artillery fire less than a week ago. The camp is quiet, too quiet, no shouting, no blows, no guards screaming for faster movement, just the creak of leather, the murmur of English voices, and the faint smell of something impossible. Meat, not the greasy grey paste issued back home, not horse, not turnip stew stretched thin by desperation. This is different, warm, savoury, real. Keller exchanges a glance with Major Friedrich Weber, captured alongside him after their fuel trucks were destroyed by Allied fighter bombers. Weber's face is drawn, hollowed by months of ration cuts and bad news from the Eastern Front, but now his brow furrows not in fear but confusion. They are marched toward a low wooden building, light spills from the windows. Inside, long tables are already set, white plates, metal utensils, tin cups filled to the brim. A U.S. Army sergeant stands at the door, clipboard under his arm. "Dinner," he says simply, no sarcasm, no threat, just one word. Keller hesitates. You can almost feel the tension ripple through the column of German officers. This is a trick, surely, some psychological game. They have heard stories, whispered rumors among the ranks, about American camps meant to humiliate prisoners with false generosity. Inside, the air is thick with steam, beef stew, potatoes, bread so fresh it still gives under your fingers, and at the end of the line, something Keller has not seen in years. Coffee, real coffee, not barley, not acorns, not bitterness disguised as comfort, coffee. He takes his tray with hands that tremble despite himself. The spoon is heavier than expected, solid, well-made, everything here feels excessive. They sit, no one speaks. For a long moment, no one eats. Then Weber lifts his spoon, smells it, and freezes. His eyes widen just a fraction, enough that Keller notices. "This is beef," Weber murmurs, "not substitute." Keller swallows, slowly, carefully, as if the food might vanish if he moves too fast. He brings the spoon to his mouth. The taste hits him like a memory from another life. Salt, fat, heat. His body reacts before his mind can catch up. His shoulders sag, his breath releases. Around him, other officers lower their heads over their trays, chewing in silence, some too focused to hide the way their hands shake. This is not a single lucky meal. And the day after that, breakfast brings eggs, powdered yes, but eggs nonetheless, bread with actual jam. Lunch includes canned fruit, peaches swimming in syrup so sweet it almost hurts. By the end of the week, Keller realizes something unsettling. This is not special treatment, this is standard. Across the Atlantic, in a drafty headquarters near Zossen, south of Berlin, a very different table is set. Generaloberst Heinz Guderian, Inspector General of Armored Troops, sits hunched over reports stacked thick as bricks. The Red Army presses from the east. The Western Allies grind forward from the west. Fuel allocations have been slashed again. Panzer divisions exist mostly on paper. A folder marked POW Interrogations, United States, lies open before him. At first he skims. Captured officers often exaggerate. Complaints are common. Weak men blame circumstances. Then he slows. Daily caloric intake exceeds 3,500 calories. Regular meat rations. Coffee available without restriction. Desserts observed. Desserts. Guderian rubs his temples. He thinks of frontline reports from Italy and Ukraine, soldiers living on 1,500 calories a day, sometimes less. Men expected to fight, march, dig, and die on thin soup and promises. He turns the page. Morale among U.S. troops assessed as consistently high. Food supply cited as primary factor. Primary factor. He leans back in his chair. The room smells faintly of coal smoke and stale paper. Outside, the rumble of distant trains carries supplies that never seem to reach the front intact. This is not about comfort, he realizes. This is about capacity. Back in Camp Algona, Keller finishes his meal and sits quietly as an American guard passes by carrying a metal tub. Inside are cartons, white, clean. Keller watches as the guard walks away, already thinking ahead to tomorrow's rations, tomorrow's deliveries, tomorrow's certainty that this abundance will continue. And in that moment, a far more terrifying thought takes hold. If this is what the Americans can afford to feed their prisoners, what must they be feeding their soldiers? March 18, 1944, Camp Algona, Iowa. You can almost feel the tension in the air as Oberleutnant Keller walks past the small wooden huts where fellow prisoners scribble letters home. The faint smell of ink and paper mixes with the lingering aroma of stew, a contrast so surreal it makes his head spin. Outside, snow drifts lazily across the gravel yard, crunching under boots as prisoners go through their limited exercises. Keller sits at a battered wooden table, staring at a folded sheet of paper he's been given by an American clerk. It's a copy of a report he's required to read, part of the Red Cross documentation, part psychological test. The heading reads, U.S. Troop Rations and Morale Assessment. He reads the first line and almost laughs, if it weren't for the knot in his stomach. He looks up. Around him, other officers glance nervously, trying not to betray the same disbelief that claws at him. They've been trained for the harshest winters in Russia, the mud and grime of Normandy, the shortages in the Balkans. And yet here, the Americans treat captured officers as if they are human. Weeks pass. Keller starts to notice a pattern. Every day, new deliveries arrive: canned meat, fresh vegetables, powdered milk, sugar, and yes, ice cream. A small miracle in a war that has taken everything from him. He keeps reading, and each line stabs him with a growing, uncomfortable realization. This is not charity. This is logistics, efficiency, strategy. He's not alone in noticing. Intelligence reports, smuggled in during interrogations of other prisoners, circulate quietly. These are dry, bureaucratic notes, numbers, dates, weights, yet they scream of power rations sufficient to feed 10 divisions for 1 week, food trucks and rail lines synchronized, minimal waste, troop morale rated as high. Keller shuffles through the pages and pauses at a single paragraph, underlined in faint pencil by an interrogator comparison with German frontline rations. 1,502,000 calories. Protein limited, meals often irregular, morale declining in correlation with food shortages. His chest tightens. You can almost feel the weight of his officers' unspoken thoughts. They all know the drill. They've survived cold, hunger, and endless artillery barrages, and yet they've never experienced this abundance, this normalcy. Outside the hut, a group of Americans laughs, ordinary soldiers enjoying the warmth of a fire, mugs of cocoa in hand. Their conversation drifts through the thin wooden walls, carrying words like pie, coffee refill, tomorrow we get fresh peaches. Keller's jaw tightens. How can one army fight effectively when its enemy is living on scraps and misery, and the other is nourished to the point of contentment? The officers whisper among themselves in hushed German tones. Their words are bitter but not angry, incredulous. What kind of army can maintain this? Weber murmurs. Even in occupied France, we never had such rations. Even in Berlin, the food lines are a nightmare. Keller doesn't answer. He only looks at the tray before him, polished clean by the American mess hall staff. The spoon glints in the flickering light. Meanwhile, thousands of miles away in Berlin, Guderian reads similar reports. His office is dim, smoke curling from the corner of a discarded cigar. He leans over the paperwork, noting every number, every description. Cooks assigned per 500 men, 5 meals consistently prepared and delivered on schedule. The thought gnaws at him. Every logistical failure he has battled, every ration truck diverted, every fuel shortage now looms like a shadow. How can a German soldier be expected to fight at full strength when the enemy can not only feed but pamper their men, even prisoners? Keller closes the report and runs a hand over his face. He can almost hear the echo of the German frontline kitchens, the tin cups of watery soup, the lice-infested bread, the endless ration calculations that left men weak, desperate, and sometimes mutinous. He looks back at the American cooks bustling about, trays heavy with warmth, precision, and care. And in that moment, a quiet, terrifying realization sets in. The war is not just being fought with bullets, shells, and tanks. It is being fought with bread, meat, sugar, and ice cream. Every meal, every ration, every well-fed soldier is another weapon aimed directly at German morale and capacity. Keller leans back and stares at the ceiling. You can almost hear the thought forming in his mind. We are losing, not because of our bravery, but because they can outfeed us. A muffled laugh echoes from the mess hall. Ice cream is being served again. You can almost taste the sweetness, the normalcy, the unspoken humiliation. And Keller knows the Americans are winning quietly, methodically, without a single shot fired in this camp. But then a knock on the hut door breaks the spell. A sergeant steps in, holding a small package marked to German officers' special delivery. Keller exchanges a glance with Weber, heart pounding. What could this be? The sergeant sets the small wooden crate on the table. Cold, stamped letters glare up at Keller. He pries it open. Inside, individually wrapped chocolate bars, fresh fruit, tiny cans of condensed milk. Weber whispers, voice barely audible, they send this to us voluntarily. Keller's hand freezes mid-reach. The impossible reality sinks in.